Legal cases, legal issues, legal matters. You're watching WFTV's Law Talk with anchor Christopher Heath and expert legal analyst, attorney Mark NeJame.
All right, let's talk about some of the current cases, issues, and legal matters that our viewers are talking about. Joining me today is legal analyst, attorney Mark NeJame of the NeJame Law Firm, and of course Trey Flynn, who is a criminal defense attorney, board-certified criminal defense attorney over at NeJame Law. We're talking about injunctions and no contact orders. These are usually part of a bigger case, but they're an important part nonetheless.
Right. No contact order is under the umbrella of a criminal case. Basically, somebody's been accused of something. A court says, as the terms of your release, no contact with X, Y, or Z because there's an allegation that you've been harmful to them. That's different, although the ends are accomplished the same, from a restraining order. And you're exactly right, they're typically part of a bigger case, a battery, a domestic violence case, sexual battery, revenge porn or stalking. So those are allegations of criminality that occur, and an individual is going out there to a court and saying, I need an injunction. I need to be protected. I need that person enjoined from having any contact with me or my children or coming to my work or anything along those lines. So that's that. You go get a temporary injunction initially, and then that leads to a permanent injunction with a subsequent hearing.
And Trey, I don't want to diminish how important these are because they're a very important tool. At the end of the day, it's a piece of paper, but it does carry weight behind it.
Absolutely, absolutely. If a court issues an injunction, either temporary or permanent, and the person is served and has knowledge of the injunction and they go ahead and violate that injunction, that is a very serious offense. It could be an aggravated stalking charge, which carries an automatic prison sentence with it. So it's important that if you go get an injunction, that you carry that paperwork with you, and unfortunately, at all times, in case there is some sort of breach of the injunction by the opposing party, or if you're the recipient of an injunction, making sure you know where you are at all times to avoid contact, purposeful contact, that is, with the person who has received the injunction.
Yeah, and it's important to work these things through with your attorney and understand what exactly these things are doing, because they are serving to kind of establish there needs to be separation here. Well,
there does, and what a lot of people think is that that piece of paper is going to fully protect them. Well, many times on that paper, it's already against the law what you're serving, what you're wanting to get protected. All that is your own private little law. A knife, a fist, a bullet can still go through that paper. So you still need to be very careful if in fact there's a genuine threat. On the other hand, some people use injunctions as a retaliatory means, that they are untruthful. And we represented people where, people make allegations because they can, accomplish something, keeping away from the children, or as revenge, or whatever it might be. Remember, you can be in a lot of trouble, as you should be, if you falsify an affidavit that leads to an injunction, because you're literally stripping somebody of their liberties. Maybe they deserve to have their liberties stripped if they're a danger, but if in fact they're not, then you're a danger by putting false information out there and creating somebody to have real havoc in their life. And there's penalties if in fact you have a firearm. There's federal penalties, and then there's state issues as it relates to when a restraining order might be in effect.
And when you go before a judge on one of these, it's important to really establish why you need it, what the circumstances are, and kind of, I think the court is also going to want to look at what happens if we don't issue this. What kind of vulnerability does this person have? When
somebody petitions the court for an injunction, it's important that they put all the details as to why they feel an injunction is necessary. Anything that is left out of the paperwork can't be considered by the court during a hearing. You need to make sure that you have all your information in there and explain exactly why this person is a threat to you. Photographs, text messages, anything that could be of value to the court needs to be included in that. So putting together these petitions is an important part of this. And likewise, if you are the recipient of a temporary injunction, it's important that you make sure you get together all your information so that you can show why this person isn't being honest from that side if you're the respondent to a petition.
And this is, and I want to come back to something you said because it's very important. At the end of the day, yes, this is a piece of paper. It's a crucial piece of paper, and just because you have it, you still need to be vigilant. You still, because if you've gone to the steps of getting an injunction or a restraining order against somebody, there's a threat out there. You need to be prepared. You need to be aware. but you also need to have this with you.
Yes, if there's a real threat, absolutely, you know, and that happens every day. But you need to be aware, though, that, exactly as Trey said, those allegations better be real. And if they're real, you need to protect yourself, because that person already crossed the line. And in this society, we know how often people get hurt. We know 80% of murders are crimes of passion. So when somebody's elevated to that level, a lot of times, they're their most dangerous, and you need to take every safeguard for you and your family.
And we cover these a lot, where you'll have an issue come up and an injunction's in place, and somebody steps right through that. And so it's one of those things where it's still important to do, but also be aware that if you're going to that level of getting one, there's very clearly a threat out there.
Without question.
Trey, thank you very much. Mark, thank you as always. If you'd like to watch more of this Law Talk or any of our others, visit our website, wftv.com/legal, or join us each week right here on Facebook. I'm Christopher Heath, and thanks for watching.
WFTV's Law Talk was brought courtesy of the Personal Injury and Accident Division of NeJame Law.